And so by preparing, I said, my words came out funny, but by preparing in advance and investing for that child when they're young, then you can help them to avoid that struggle. Because make no mistake about it, America is a country that is full of money. There is money everywhere, and part of the reason that I decided to do this economic consciousness class and do it daily every single day. I've never done a class 7 days a week. That's a lot of that's a huge burden. Part of the reason I did that was because I said, okay, maybe if we just talk about the things that I'm seeing and learn how to just see and spot where the money resides, and then understand where the money does not reside, we can have a subconscious awareness of where money's located, which will literally allow the energy of money to attract you. When they say money is energy, that's 100% true, and energy is power. So money is definitely a form of power, and I want you to be able to see where the power actually lives, and I also want you to understand when something just isn't real or something's riskier than you think. With GameStop, there are a couple of theories I'm going to mention here from the field of finance. And actually, when we get done, by the way, I'm going to give you a stock that I just invested in just because I every now and then I like to just tell you guys what I'm looking at, what I like. So remind me to do that. And also, make sure you're on the text list, and I'll send you the link if you want to do a $1 trial in the Prime program. And that's where we talk about stock options and generating income from stock options. So, a lot of what you'll like about the class too is I literally show you like I open up my app and we do a screen share and I show you exactly where the money is, exactly how to get it, and exactly how to have the money in your account by tomorrow, right? So this is good stuff. So make sure you get on the text list. You can get on there by texting the word morning, MORNING to 87948. So make sure you text morning to 87948 if you haven't done it yet. All right, so let me give you a couple of concepts that you can help to you can understand to get a framework of what's happening here. So basically, herding behavior occurs when a lot of people sort of do the same thing, almost like a herd of animals. What drives herding behavior? You may ask that. What makes somebody participate in GameStop stock? You know, when they see it kind of moving. Well, there's FOMO. FOMO is very big, fear of missing out. Social validation. A lot of people make financial decisions based on what other people are doing and thinking. We covered that yesterday where we talked about the things that drive people to spend. All right. And by the way, we've done well over 100 lectures in this training so far. If you want to go see them all and have access to all of them and share them with your family, just go to drboycedaily.com. That's drboycedaily.com. It's all right there. All right. What else? What else can drive it? Also, there are if you have if you have an influential figure, the influential figure can kind of make people make a move. There's also an appeal to being part of a collective. So what Roaring Kitty seems to have done is created like almost like this movement, like almost like a white people civil rights movement with money or something. And it was sort of like they had this common enemy. The common enemy was somehow they decided that the people that were short sellers are all bad. And I don't know. I still am trying to understand what makes them so terrible. But anyway, he convinced everyone that they're bad. And so what they started doing was pushing up the price of the stock to do a short squeeze on the short sellers. The short squeeze is where they have to start buying the shares back because they're losing so much money on the short sale. And don't worry about why. But what that does is it has a feedback loop. So if I'm a short seller and I sell the stock short, then I'm hoping the price will go down so I can buy it back later at a cheap price. But what they do is they say, no, let's push the stock up. So when the price is going up, I'm sitting there and I'm sweating as a short seller because I'm like, holy crap, I sold it for 50. I don't want to have to buy it for 90. I don't have to buy it for 150. That's scary. So what I then do is I get out of my position. I say, okay, I've lost $1 billion. Let me go buy up a bunch of shares of the stock. Well, what happens when you buy a stock or when millions of people are buying a stock or when lots of people are buying lots and lots of shares of a stock? If the demand for the stock goes up, what happens to the price? What happens? It goes up. It keeps going up. So it becomes this crazy recursive feedback loop that ends up shutting down trading of the stock because when the stock moves too much and it starts getting crazy, the market has these tripwire mechanisms where everything shuts down until the market can calm down. So anyway, the other aspects of herding behavior and irrational exuberance is a lot of hurting can cause a lot of volatility. So that's what you're seeing with GameStop stock is the stock's just going up and down a lot. There are lots of accusations of market manipulation. I personally feel that something's being manipulated here. There's no way you can have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars just swashing around without somebody with extreme financial awareness and keen insight and access to inside information not finding a way to get some of that money. Like you can't convince me that there aren't some players in the center of this. Also, the same thing I believe happens in crypto too. I think crypto is another market that gets manipulated. There are people in there that are literally like, "Oh, wow, we got these people on the hook. Let's get them swashing over here and swashing over there." And a lot of about investing is really about timing. So the question is, it's just like basketball. You know, you're watching a lot of y'all watching us. The Celtics played the Mavericks in the NBA Finals, and one of my favorite players, Jaylen Brown. You know, I hope I get to talk to him. I've met his brother, and after the finals, I'm going to try to reach out and connect with him if he's available. But anyway, you know, if you're in basketball, a lot of times playing defense is about getting to the spot first, or that's the difference between getting a charging foul versus a blocking foul, right? So getting to the spot first is really critical for investing. Being proactive instead of reactive is massive. And this is one of the reasons why I've challenged the culture in terms of us as a community being very reactive to things. Instead of us waiting for things like, say, gentrification to happen and then getting mad about it, my argument is that maybe we can see it coming and then react before it actually occurs. That was how in college, that was how I made straight A's in college. It was very easy for me to make straight A's in college, and I had the highest grade point average of all the black students on campus. And people say, "Well, how did you do that? Are you a genius?" I said, "No, I'm not a genius. That's certainly not true." I said it's easy. I just do stuff before everybody else. I don't procrastinate. I don't wait to try to study for the test 2 days before the test. I study really hard for the test about a month before the test. So I'm just a couple of weeks ahead of you. But by the time the class is over, we're gonna know the same stuff. You're gonna know the same thing I know. It's just I learned it a couple of weeks before you, which means I got an A on every quiz and I was more prepared for the exam. I had more time for the concepts to sink into my head. So it was simply a matter of being proactive versus reactive. So here's what I'm saying to you. The ability to be proactive is actually linked to other aspects of community and family success and cultural success. Proactive is also connected to this thing called delayed gratification, the ability to sacrifice now so you can win later. Right? That's it. It's all the same thing. It's all in the same big pool of like principles of success. So when you look around and you see people that are kind of struggling, you might want to ask yourself: Are they embracing a culture of delayed gratification, or are they embracing a culture of instant gratification? Are they embracing a culture of being proactive, or is their culture pretty much reactive? Do they just sit around unprepared, not thinking about the future, and then wait for something terrible to happen and then say, "Oh my God, life is so hard. Why are y'all doing this to me? I'm so oppressed." What do y'all think? Process that. I mean, just real basic stuff. So with investing, same thing is true here. People that move first, that have information, are able to convert information into action, tend to just do better financially overall. They do better in life. They do better in school. They do better at everything. And so what gives the Roaring Kitties too much of an advantage, in my opinion, is that because they have this inside information on what Roaring Kitty's going to do next, they have the early mover advantage. They get posted up before the stock even moves. This is my suspicion. This is what I really believe. I believe that they say, okay, we're about to do a tweet in a live video, and we're gonna do something really corny and goofy, which makes it seem trendy. Like I'm gonna show up wearing, wearing like a three-piece suit, but instead of the whole suit, I'm gonna cut one pants leg off and replace it with a big sock that looks like a banana peel, and I'm gonna wear like a hat that looks like one of those hats that you wear in the Kentucky Derby, and whatever, and put a clown nose on my face so that I look trendy and cool. And when I do that, everyone's gonna show up and say this is so amazing, and they're all gonna jump into this stock because I'm gonna tell them to.